All right, if you work anywhere in healthcare, you know this feeling all too well. You provide great care, you submit the claim, and boom, denied. It's a super frustrating, not to mention incredibly expensive obstacle course that practices have to run every single day. So today, we are going to crack the code on why this keeps happening and, more importantly, what you can actually do about it.
Okay, let's kick things off with a number that is just mind-blowing. $19.7 billion. That is how much U.S. hospitals and health systems spend every single year, not on patient care, not on new equipment, but just on the paperwork to appeal denied insurance claims. Think about that. It is a massive hole in the bucket for a system that's already stretched pretty thin.
So just how big of a deal is this, really? Well, on average, about 15% of all medical claims get denied. To put that in perspective, for roughly every 7 claims a practice sends out, one of them is coming right back. And each one of those kicks off this whole chain reaction of paperwork, phone calls, and of course, delayed revenue. The scale of this thing is just huge.
Okay, so how in the world do you even begin to tackle a problem this big? Well, we're going to break it down. Here's what we've got on tap. We'll start with the denial dilemma, then get into the top reasons claims fail. We'll do a quick deep dive into the challenges in endocrinology, then get to the good stuff, preventing denials and mastering how to manage them. And finally, we'll take a peek at the future of billing.
All right, let's dive into our first section, the denial dilemma. And you know, it's so important to understand that these claim denials, they aren't just some random, annoying thing that happens now and then. Nope. This is a rising tide of rejections that's putting some serious financial heat on practices everywhere. It's a system-wide problem that affects literally everyone, from the person at the front desk checking you in, all the way to the doctor.
But here's the thing, and this is the most important part. It's actually really hopeful. A whopping 90% of all these claim denials are preventable. Yeah, you heard that right, 90%. This one stat just completely flips the script. It means this isn't some unstoppable tidal wave. It's a problem with a solution, a problem we can actually fix with smarter processes.
And we really need to get a handle on this because it's not getting any better. In fact, it's getting worse. A recent survey of revenue cycle leaders, these are the folks in the trenches of medical billing, found that 3/4 of them, 75%, say claim denials are on the rise. So this isn't a problem that's just sitting there. It's actively growing and needs our attention right now.
Okay, moving on. If 90% of these are preventable, that begs the question, where are things breaking down? You can't fix a problem if you don't know what's causing it, right? So let's pull back the curtain and look at the most common reasons a claim gets that big, red, denied stamp.
So where do these claims go wrong? What's the roadblock on their journey from the doctor's office to the insurance company? You'd be surprised. A lot of the time, it boils down to really simple but really costly little mistakes, clerical errors that happen way at the beginning of the process.
And check this out. When you look at the top reasons, what's so striking is just how avoidable they are. A survey found that the #1 culprit cited by almost half of billing managers was missing pre-authorizations. And right on its heels, you've got a tie between coding mistakes and issues with provider eligibility. All of these are things that, theoretically, should be caught and fixed right at the start.
Now, while this is a headache for everyone in healthcare, some specialties feel the pain way more than others. So let's zoom in and use endocrinology as a kind of case study. It's a field where the sheer complexity of the care makes billing an absolute minefield.
So, for a quick refresher, endocrinology is the specialty that focuses on our endocrine system, all the glands that produce hormones. These are the doctors who manage really complex, chronic conditions that can last a lifetime, like diabetes or thyroid disorders.
And this right here really gets to the heart of the problem. Think about it. Some medical care is episodic, like you break your arm, you get it set, you're done. Simple. But endocrinology is the total opposite. It's longitudinal care. It's this ongoing long-term relationship to manage a chronic disease. That means more tests, more visits, constant tweaks to treatment, and, you guessed it, way more complicated billing.
So it really is a perfect storm. The billing is so tough because you're juggling so many things at once.
You have these chronic conditions like diabetes that need constant management. You often have multiple tests in just one visit. You're always chasing down pre-authorizations for new treatments. The billing codes themselves are super complex and always changing. And on top of all that, you have to document everything in painstaking detail just to prove that the treatment was medically necessary.
Okay, that's enough doom and gloom about the problem. Let's shift gears and talk about solutions. We've already established that most of these denials are preventable, which means the best offense is a good defense. It's all about being proactive and getting the claim right the first time. So, how do you do that? It really comes down to 4 crucial steps. Number 1, educate your front-end staff. They are your first line of defense and they need to be true partners with your billing team. 2, verify, verify, verify. Be absolutely relentless about checking patient and insurance info before and at the time of the visit. 3, nail down those pre-authorizations. Have a rock-solid system to confirm them before you schedule anything. And finally, number 4, use technology to your advantage. Get some claim scrubbing software to be your safety net, catching errors before that claim goes out the door.
All right, but let's be real. Even with the best prevention in the world, some denials are still going to slip through the cracks. It's inevitable. So you also need a solid game plan for when that happens, a reactive playbook, if you will. This is all about how you manage the denials you do get so you can learn from them, fix them, and get that money back in the door.
And this table lays it out perfectly. Let's walk through it. A denial for eligibility, the fix is to do that real-time verification upfront next time. Get a denial for coding or documentation, that's your cue to double down on using claim scrubbers and making sure the doctor's notes clearly back up the bill. Missed an authorization, your move is to appeal, armed with proof of medical necessity. And if the insurance company still questions that necessity, that's when you bring out the big guns, detailed clinical docs and a request for a peer-to-peer review with another doctor.
So, where is all this headed? Let's talk about the future. The evolution of medical billing isn't just about finding better ways to fill out forms. No, it's about a complete shift in thinking, moving from reactive to proactive, and using smart technology to finally get ahead of this problem. Look, if you remember just one thing today, please let it be this. A proactive strategy at the front end is so much more powerful and way less expensive than trying to clean up a giant mess on the back end. An ounce of prevention is truly worth a pound of cure here.
And the good news is we're getting some serious backup from technology. New AI-driven tools are coming online that can automate so many of these tedious but absolutely critical tasks. We're talking about automatically checking eligibility, scrubbing claims for errors. Some can even predict the risk of a denial before you hit send. It's a real game changer. And that leaves us with one final big question to chew on. For decades, the sheer weight of this administrative paperwork has been stealing precious time away from actual patient care. So as AI gets smarter and these tools get better, is it possible? Could we finally be on the verge of winning back that lost time? Will practices finally be free to focus 100% on what actually matters, taking care of people?